All right, let's go. Today's topic is relationship density. Okay, so basically for PR 30 or press record 30, this idea, I thought it would just be good to discuss because I've talked about it on my podcast a little bit. I've talked about it in my newsletter a little bit. And one thing that Zach has discussed is this idea of a signal. So what is that signal where maybe a topic is hitting? And quite a few people have hit me up, whether it's about the newsletter or the pod, about this idea of relationship density. So what is it? And basically, I just thought of this idea when I went to a college strength conditioning conference, and I got to see a bunch of my friends that I worked with at the University of Kentucky 11 years ago, or the University of Iowa 10 years ago, or Washington State even 12 years ago during my undergrad, which is crazy. But it was this idea of relationship density. Like, why? It made me ask the question, like, why am I so close with some of these people who I haven't seen in forever? Or why am I so close with some people that I only spent a little bit of time with? A good example is there's two coaches at Kentucky, Deef and Metzger, that they were graduate assistant coaches when I was an undergraduate intern. And we shared the same office. It was early in my career. And honestly, I spent like 10, 12 weeks with them. But they're still like two of my really good friends that, yeah, we don't talk every single day, but we stay connected. We're all still in the field of coaching, so we're able to connect over that. So the idea of this relationship density, I brought up to some student athletes. So I brought it up to some baseball guys that I work with, and I asked them, like, think about, have you played summer ball with a guy? So summer ball, for if you're a collegiate student athlete, is roughly like 2 months. So you play 6 games a week, 1 off day, and you play for June, July, and maybe a little bit of August. So you're with this guy for 2 months and a week. And I was like, you could think there's guys that you're closer with that you played for roughly 2 months than you are closer with guys on your team right now. And I use that same example. There's quite a few coaches who maybe I've only worked with them for 6 months, but I talk to them once every maybe 2 weeks or 3 weeks. And it makes me ask that question, like, what created the density of that relationship compared to maybe there's some people that I interact with every single day. Maybe I've been around them for years and they don't know me. I don't know them as well as some people that I've only hung out with for maybe every day for 8 weeks. And I think it connects back to this feeling we've probably all felt before, where you see an old friend, you haven't seen him forever, and you just pick up right where it left off. You know, you pick up like you saw him yesterday. So I think there's this weight. There's this thing that's hard to describe. So that's why I called it density. And it's just like you have the same aura, the same energy. You guys just connect. I think there's just something really important that is not necessarily time dependent. Maybe it's more experience dependent or mission dependent. That's an idea that I've been thinking about a lot, where I've connected with some people on Twitter or in the podcast space where we're on a very similar mission. And then that leads to us being pretty close. Like Joe Podoslenko is an example of that. So I've never met him. He lives on the East Coast. I live on the West Coast in Portland, Oregon. We both have a podcast. We connected via Twitter. We both recorded a pod, and we stay in touch all the time. So it's like, that's even interesting. I've only have interactions with him virtually, and I could go down the list, but it's that density is created by experience. It is created by maybe a density of time with that experience, or I believe density could be created by being a shared mission, shared love, a shared energy for a project that you're trying to build. So honestly, my goal is to write about it. So in the show notes, I'll have my newsletter, and my goal is to put out an article where I can kind of dissect this a little bit more. I think this video is a great starting point for dissecting this idea and just better understanding it, because isn't that what we want? We want deep, meaningful relationships in our life that have this rich density, so we can continue to serve others, we can impact other people, and they can impact us. We can all just be the best that we could be. But I'm going to write a newsletter about it soon. I just wanted to hop on here and discuss this idea that I think is pretty cool. So just staying on a mission, and I appreciate you all. Keep stacking those daily deposits and making every day the best day of the year. Until tomorrow. Peace.